name for the audio levels?
Hi, I'm Brian Lotti. Oh man, TransWorld, the red curb, the Encinitas tall single-sided red curb. That was a really fun spot. I used to skate that spot all the time. Didn't really get busted there. I think there was like a good burrito spot right by there too. Yeah, I think I went here with Grant. We went twice. I think maybe we went late in the day and then we came back in the morning or something. Yeah, it was just me and Grant, and pretty quiet, pretty chill. I guess that was the thing. We're just gonna put a curb on the cover, right? Big pants, tiny wheels, and a good red curb. Yeah, I wish I had a couple pairs of these right now. Got Encinitas, the little bump behind the grocery store off the freeway in Encinitas. That was a real fun spot. There was a good loading dock there too. Skateboarding media was centralized still. Everyone was on the same page, watching the same channel. Oh, that's a sick shot of Chris Markovich. Markovich was awesome. I remember skating with Markovich a lot around, yeah, summer of '92. Yeah, that was the first cover. Grant might have said we want to take some pictures of you maybe for a cover. I think I might have known when we were gonna go shoot this. Or like, let's see how these turn out. If it turns out cool, maybe it'll be a cover. It's like, oh wow. He was really cool. Pretty funny to just have a little a little parking lot sesh on the cover. Yeah, I think I sent a copy to my mom. I think she still has a copy of it. Ooh, gosh. Henry Sanchez I think did a backside Smith on a Thrasher cover. I think I kind of liked that one because it was really kind of sketchy, you know. Maybe some of the older TransWorlds and Thrashers. I think those covers, like the first street issue for TransWorld. I think just because it was a street issue, I was so excited about that magazine. It was like, that was back when the magazines really kind of gave you license to, oh, it's all right just to skate street, just do an acid drop off a little loading dock. That's legit. The magazines were kind of the paradigm in the PAL videos. Everyone skated vert ramps. So when the first magazines came out that were dedicated to street skating, it was like, oh, wow, okay, yeah, that's it. I mean, it doesn't have to be about ramps. It could be about anything. Yeah, this is such a cool cover. The Now and Later video for Planet Earth. These cool little sequences, Miller doing an overturn, grind up the extension. Got all those cool little drawings on here. So fun. Yeah, I love this cover. Yeah, I think I liked it, but no, it was, I think Mike, the guy that made the video, kind of ended up putting it in there. People dig them. Yeah, they're awesome. On the curb. Yeah. Oh man, I mean, I think a lot of people were doing nose grinds popping out before the end. It was one of those things. I think people kind of learned how to boink them on the end of benches, trying to do grinds and pop out. Jeremy Klein, I think it was just one of those things. It was like blunt slides too. You blunt slide, then can you come out fakie, but do it before the end, you know? Yeah. So I think it was the same. A lot of tricks you do, because curbs didn't have ends necessarily, so you'd have to, like a lip slide, had pop out before the end, you know? How do you get out of the curb if it doesn't have an end? You gotta like get out of it somehow, you know? In reality, probably 5 guys did it at the same time in 6 different cities, you know? That's how skateboarding really works. Yeah, skating curbs and blocks too is kind of like, it's almost like thinking about like a mini ramp or a vert ramp too. So it was like, you wanted to be able to come back in on the same side. Oh, close. It was a spin out. People call it a little spin. Man, there's all kinds of names for that. I think people have more names for it now too. That was a funny one. I think so, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. It was just dorking around and then, oh, let's try this. Oh man, the last time I watched this video, I can't even remember. I could not say. Probably not 20 years ago. It's probably sometime in the last, I don't know, 15 years. God, Chris Miller's vert skating in this on Tony Magnuson's ramp is really sick. Some of those lines where he's doing like alley-oop caballerial to 5-0 and then pumping in. And then Javante, you know, Javante like skating at 7th Street, some of the lines he did there, like he did the backside nose grind, pop to backside lip side to like 5-0, pop off, like all that stuff was like, he's like, had good English on his tricks, you know, he like enunciated his tricks. They were really, you know, it was like good diction, good skateboarding diction. Mostly, yeah, I was like the naive kid and he would just like pick on me, you know. I was like the nerdy little kid, so, but we got along, but yeah, I was like, I didn't grow up living in the city, so yeah. I got some shit. Kind of all over. My dad was in the Air Force, so kind of moved around a little bit. Salt Lake City and Las Vegas, and then moved to California when I graduated high school. Yeah, he did. Mike Chernesky filmed a good part of this, and as well as Dan Sturt, the amazing photographer. Ooh, man, the last time I saw Mike was at the Big Brother office. Yeah, in El Segundo. It was like a day after I think I was like, I gotta quit skating, I'm like going back to school. And then Mike came up, he's like, dude, I heard you're quitting, like what's going on? What are you gonna do? I was like, I don't know, I'm going back to school, you know, like, yeah, that was the last time I saw him. God, and then he passed away like 8 months after that. Yeah. Jake filmed some of this. Yeah, Jake was awesome. Jake just let you do your thing. He was there, he wasn't like coaching you. Whereas Chernesky was like, he was either coaching you or he was like turning a cold shoulder on you. Fuck, you're never gonna like, just trying to motivate you by being negative. Like, you're not gonna do this, let's fucking get out of here. Yeah, reverse psychology. But he was mostly like, come on, do it better, do it again. Do it over, wait, try it, do it like you've never done it before. I didn't really care who was filming. It was more if like I was into the spot and just like in the zone, then it was like, filming was really fun. I hadn't filmed enough to really have preferences at that point. I mean, God, that's complicated. It's one of those things like that happens to you after the fact. I don't think I knew it was going down until the video was kind of published, and I kind of had to live with it. I was like, oh my God, if I had the choice again, would I turn the voiceover off? Like, maybe.
Every new trick always feels better. Like when you take it one step further, it always feels better. I don't know, it just feels good when like a complicated trick comes together, I guess. Yeah, manual tricks are more like balanced stuff, I guess. I don't know, it's weird. Like, how many different ways can you balance while moving on your skateboard? I don't know, it just feels satisfying if you land like something clean on your board, and you land backwards just a good amount of speed, or you land forward and you jump.
I just didn't know any better. Those guys, let's just get him talking and we'll see what we can come up with. He says weird stuff.
My name is Brian Lotti. I'm 18 years old. I go to school at the University of San Diego, and I live in San Diego, and I like to skate, I guess, and sleep, go to school, eat, play air hockey every once in a while.
Maybe like a year or two ago.
Yeah, there's been times when I've seen kids and it's reminded me of when I first started skating, because I would just kind of sit back and I'd just be I'd be in awe, I guess you could say, like of all the things people did and stuff. So I guess one of the most rewarding things about skateboarding now is that I can help kids that are in the same position that I used to be in. Because I don't know, I've gotten a lot out of skateboarding, and I wouldn't be where I am now. People in my position now hadn't helped me out.
Oh shoot, man. There it is. Nice. The Wild Things board. Yeah, this is a Chris Miller graphic. First board I had with Planet Earth skateboards. First pro model too. Yeah. Yeah, it's so simple now too, right? Less is more. Absolutely, yeah. Cutouts are kind of back in, huh? Split stains are back. Yeah, let in the veneer kind of breathe a little bit, kind of commingle. It was probably Chris's idea, knowing how it went. We would kind of kick ideas around about graphics. I mean, I was definitely into this book when I was a kid, Where the Wild Things Are. I don't know how it came up as an idea for a board graphic. His interpretation is really cool. It's definitely kind of his own deal. And I love Chris Miller graphics, like his Schmidt graphics, his GNS graphics. I kind of grew up looking at those. His whole cat graphic genre on Schmidt was so cool. And then so I feel like this is kind of related to, you know, you use bright colors to render creatures. Super fun graphic. Yeah. Oh, I was super psyched on this. I have one of these tucked away somewhere. Sure. Back when boards were screened.
Thank you.
Yeah. I love that top graphic. That was really sick. Man, pretty brutal now. Oh, that's such a cool board. Yeah, this thing's awesome. Yeah, this might be one of my favorites. Love this colorway. Simple, whatever graphic. I don't know, another kind of Chris Miller freeform improv graphic. He kind of came up with it and showed it to me, and I was like, fuck, I like that. I think this was my second board. But the shape is really fun. He's playing with the font. This one kind of flew under the radar. I don't know if this got out too much. Picking up that whole like Planet Earth theme, right? The safari animals. I don't.
Oh, really?
I don't.
I was always.
I had doubles of some, but not this one.
I was always worried. Like after I bought them, like I was thinking, like 2 years later, like, fuck, I hope he has like doubles of those things.
This is the one that I wish I would have had doubles of, but whatever. I know where you live, right?
I love this one so much.
Yeah, less is more, huh? Nice. The Tron graphic. That was sick. That movie Tron, you know, the first one, love that movie. Another Chris Miller graphic, he kind of took a frame from, I might have had trading cards. I might have had these Tron trading, like baseball trading cards. We had some light cycles, these reconcilers, and then I think the tank. Yeah, I remember Miller did this graphic with was like the Ruby Lift, did the color separations with got these halftone dots for the tank, and anyways, this was like a fun graphic come to life. Still before like graphics were done on the computer, so it looks like a commercial graphic, but this was all done by hand and just layers and like layering the silkscreen drops. You know, to be honest, I think that the last one, the Sun Girl one with the giraffes and the birds that's probably the all-time favorite, because it's a random one. There wasn't a lot of like, well, this is you and this means all this stuff. It was just you just got to stretch them out. These boards the old boards used to be so short, really small wheelbase.
Perfect.
It was cool. It was different. It was like a whole different beast. Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, the Mondrian board. It's funny, but I think the colors are maybe not Mondrian colors. I think Miller took a little license with the color blocks. This is like a Chris Miller colorway. He was into greens and reds and oranges. Mondrian was more of a primary color kind of guy. I think he made something physical. The Everslick, the slick boards, was that you'd take a photo file, and the photo file would be printed and sublimated into the plastic. So it might have been an actual painting that was photographed and then printed into the plastic. Everslicks was the first graphic skateboards had where you could take a photo and kind of like reproduce it verbatim. This shape's really sweet though. It's kind of fun. A little asymmetrical. Yeah, that's a cool shape. I mean, it works so well across the board shape too. Like formally speaking, it's a nice division of the board shape. Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh sick.
It was like an OGU.
Oh shit.
Guess you missed the oat.
I think Baker did a graphic for that guy Cyril last year too. Was it? Another Mondrian take. If this had normal Mondrian colors, I don't think it would be as interesting. That board like so fun to ride too. That concave is nice and flat. Oh, the Tremaine graphic. God, nice. It's funny how much smaller the board's got. Blind board. Yeah, quitting planet Earth, man. Let's. I don't know if we can. I'm tongue-tied right now. I think I reached out to him like a year or so after, probably the summer after I quit, trying to reconnect with him. All my buddies were living and skating up in LA and hanging out up there, so it was like one of those going with the flow thing. Skating with Henry and Guy and Matchner and Rudy like every weekend, and yeah, I think I struggled with it. It was a big move actually, tricky to leave. Yeah, so this is a blind graphic by Jeff Tremaine. I guess my second blind board. Tremaine was a friend of Spike's, and Spike introduced Tremaine to Rocco and was like, hey, check this guy out. This guy's a really good painter. And Tremaine had all these bunch of paintings. Some other paintings of his became board graphics too, but I remember seeing this painting of the frog. If people know this board, they'll remember it, but there's like bolts sticking out of the frog's hands and legs, like a crucified frog. Back when the very first boards were being made from photos. So this was a photo of a painting, you know, and the photo was sublimated into the plastic. Fun painting by a fun board of a painting by Jeff Tremaine. Went on to be the editor of Big Brother magazine. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he would do these paintings with he would mix sand with acrylic paint and work in layers. He had a really cool technique. I mean, I didn't stick around long enough when things started getting really, really freaky. I was like the good kid. My first board, the rabbit board, you know, Rocco snuck a lucky rabbit's foot into shrink wrap, so it's kind of like, that was his kind of like punk rock move, I guess, for that board. So that was maybe my fucked up graphic, because it was ostensibly like an animal-free board. But then you look on the other side and there's like a dyed rabbit's foot. So that was I guess the joke on me, you know. But yeah, the fucked up blind kids. This was like about a year before I got on. Right. Yeah, this was the beginning of like some interesting stuff. I mean, the least favorite graphic. I mean, I thought the Guy Mariano, the gun one, where the kid's just dead on the ground. I thought that was a little bit heavy. I think McKee made that one. Yeah. There were so many. They were like the Randy Colvin, the velvet board with like it was like a Black Panther board. Oh my God, that board was amazing. Yeah. And you had to board slide off the velvet. You would stick on board slides. You had to like rub it off, and then it would slide good. Yeah, that was like kind of the beginning of the appropriated graphic era. Jason Lee and the Guy Mariano and the Rudy, I guess it was the Claudia Schiffer boards, like the guest series. Love that shape, and then those graphics were super good. To be honest, like some of my favorite world boards were the early ones, like, you know, the Vallely Animal Farm, like the Rocco, the SMA Rocco board, Stickorama board. Super fun to skate with because he was always just charging, always like pushing everyone to like come up with something. Really strong will, like stayed till he made the trick. Remember Henry came down to Redondo, and we were all at Steve's house, and Henry had a VHS tape with recent footage, and he had the clip of like the very first time he did a nose slide to backside 180 out, and that was like a mind blower. Like we were all just like, oh my gosh, we couldn't figure it out. He does it so fast. It's like he did a nose slide, but then he popped into like a nose grind and backside 180 out. And it was probably a day or two. It was right around the same time Mike Carroll did nose slide and all the heel flip out. Each kind of had their own nose slide trick. Both of those tricks, but especially Henry's backside 180 out, it was like, what the heck? We kept slow-moing it, but you know, the slow-mo on the VHS tapes back then was like really sketchy, so he didn't quite, he would try something and just keep trying until he made it. Oh, man. What, did Guy have a girl? Maybe that was Rudy. Oh yeah, rear end Rudy. Guy's was like, he was sniffing glue. Hi Guy. And then what was Jordan? Jordan's was jerking Jordan. Poor Jordan. I mean, he always got he's another really, really good skateboarder. And yeah, that graphic was, no, whatever. Definitely harsh. Oh, nice. Daniel Castillo. Back in the OG Big Brother days. This magazine was so cool. Yeah, back when the video grabs were kind of king. No one wanted to spend money on print film. I don't know, what can I say about this mag? Right. The Vaughn's parking lot in Redondo Beach. This cool little curb. Rick Cossack kind of came up with this concept. He's like, oh, let's get a picture with the doll. And yeah, so we shot this at night. He set it all up. I think this might have been a week or so before I went. I accompanied Rick to a prop house in Hollywood. He picked up some fake poop for Rocco to shoot a bearings ad. Rocco had figured out like he could get these gold bearings for really cheap. So he was like kind of trying to come up with like a cool way to promote them. So Rick was always getting weird assignments. It's awesome. Ronnie Bertino is so good. Ronnie Bertino, Guy Mariano back then were really exciting to watch skate because we're really on top of their game. LeVar too. Oh shoot. Nice. Little blunt slide. I don't know if that was like an underground parking garage. I don't even remember where the spot was. This is definitely when wheels were at their smallest. It was a really fun graphic. Yeah, Sean Cliver kind of nailed it. It was his idea. Yeah, he came up with the idea and we talked about it and then he did it and it was such a fun board. That was my first blind board I loved. All the world stuff. I think that's some fucked pants, like a world hat. They used to make all this stuff in the factories. Like I think there were 2 buildings. World screened all their boards, everything was like in the same, made the pants, sewed the hats, like it was all in the same place. Oh man. I mean, yeah, all my buds were skated for blind. That's how I ended up on blind. I was just skating with Tim and Henry and Guy. And yeah, 101 was cool, but I didn't really know Nadas that well, or yeah. Yeah, Steven Callis. Well, Steven was rad. I mean, he was like, he had a real specific bag of tricks, and I remember like anything heel flip, like he excelled at. Like inward heels like this at the Los Feliz. So good. The guy was kind of ahead of his time.
Did you sleep in his room? Oh, dude, I missed it.
Steven was great. Sure. I know, it's like Sean Cliver, like peak Sean Cliver artwork. I don't know, it's so good. His drawing and like the color separations and the way, I don't know, it's like a limited palette, pinks and then flesh tone and this blue and the gray, but it's such a fun skateboard graphic. I think this was the last board. Oh, sick. Oh God, that's awesome. Right, so cool. He's drawing with this rapidograph probably, and then coming back in with a little fine white brush to like clarify the line. Back then, early 90s, World was like, all the offices were connected, you know, everyone would kind of be really close to each other. And I remember like Sean and Mark would basically work in the same offices where Big Brother was. If those guys weren't like working on a graphic, they were fucking around with Tremaine or Cossack, like fucking working on Big Brother. It's so good, man. Yeah, summer '92, I think there was a contest in San Jose and a bunch of us were driving up to SF. Rocco wanted to go, but this girl, Kristen, he was kind of chasing after, was gonna be up in SF, and she had a friend. I kind of knew Kristen. I think she was from Vegas. I kind of knew her. For whatever reason, Rocco was like, all right, Lotti, will you go with me? I need like a wingman. Will you do like a double date with me in SF? So yeah, I think we went up. He ended up getting like 2 rooms at like the Fairmont Hotel. And I remember Kristen and her friend were like, I got like a plate of pasta, and they were like, oh, your garlic is burnt. You gotta send that plate back. And they made a big stink about it. That was a funny memory. Yeah, it was like the Rocco's wingman for a night. I remember one day at the World Park, guy was doing nollie 270 heel flips over this hip. And he was like, oh, it's so lame, like this is so awkward. And Rocco's like, that's really good. He's like, I'll give you $100 if you do it again. And he did it just like that. He's like, I'll give you $100 if you do it again. And he did another one, and he just like that. It was a really sick trick. Just peeled it off, like here. Yeah, most of us did. Guy was like the sweetest dude back then. He was like the natural. Little Ted Newsom, early Ted Newsom TransWorld cover. So sick. Chris Markovich in Oceanside. This is the issue I have an interview in. Yeah. Right. The pro flashlight. Given that it wasn't like a full interview, it wasn't a spotlight, so I was like, let's call it it's a small interview. It fit really well. I remember it fit comfortably. You could skate in it like no problem.
With the plane?
Oh yeah. Life imitates art. That was just like a happy accident. That was a really random shot.
You guys weren't waiting on the plane? You were just like, it just happened. You're like, oh.
Actually, we were. I think we were taking the shots, and then one kind of went through there, and then Grant was like, oh, let's try and time it with an airplane. Yeah. And I think we tried it 3 or 4 times. It just happened to work out that there's some kind of serendipity there. I mean, this was my like feeble attempt at satire. So I had this like really skinny board, you know, the banana board with like really tiny wheels, and then I tried to source like some extra baggy pants and a shirt. And a lot of skateboarders are really into tagging at that moment. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna make just do a funny thing about tagging. It's funny, the can I have in my hand is it's like whipped cream or like hair mousse or something, and a cop actually stopped, had us like get against the wall, and like thought we were actually tagging. But a lot of people thought this was like a serious shot. It didn't read as satire. Yeah. Sure. Riccio Iola. Yeah, that was so sick. Not yet. I think it was like Jim Gagney was on our radar. Jamal, a couple of the Boston guys. Yeah, Matt Reason. Not too many people. Oh man. Ken Liu doing this hip ollie. That spot's awesome. This guy ripped so hard right around then. Donger was like the king. Whatever, when I was hurt that summer, the Big Brother guys were giving me a bunch of film, and I was taking photos. And I remember going around and shooting with him in Hillcrest and Balboa Park, and Joey Surreal, right at Lockwood. That was a super fun spot. There's actually a really good scene at Lockwood. Heath Kirchhart was like little, and everyone used to skate there. That's where Chuck Wampler got shot. No, I never had that. That was like, I think that was like a year or 2 after I left. It just started getting hairy. I do remember Gons skating there with some of the Menace dudes early on, and he tried a lip slide on a full-size picnic table, basically broke his ankle and had to like climb the fence out, and that guy's so tough. that guy's a maniac. Oh yeah, Pack of Lies, the Tim Henry promo. I know, that was always the question, right? People were always like, God, we love Henry's part, but like the song's so heavy. The Sabbath is like, it's like a little too heavy, bro. The sweet and sour, I don't know. I mean, I like both of their parts for different reasons. Tim made stuff look so fun and kind of accessible. He was kind of carefree. Yeah, Henry just did so much gnarly stuff, like the nose blunt slide on Burl Banks. Man, he just crushed it. The place is still just, ugh. I had just gotten on the team actually when this video came out. I didn't have that much footage. Yeah, a guy had like a couple tricks. We all had a couple tricks. Yeah. there was a double-sided curb going up this driveway, and the sidewalk was going down. I don't know if he landed it in any video, but he was coming from the driveway side and doing a tail slide and popping to fakie over, like off the ledge and landing down the sidewalk, but it was a tail slide to fakie kickflip out. Did he make it?
Yeah.
I remember him trying it, and it was just kind of out of nowhere. I was like, whoa. And now people thread the needle in all kinds of ways. But back then it was like, what? You're transferring over, you're flipping out, and then you're landing on this little sidewalk. It makes like curb and block skating look like really fun and kind of accessible. It's not. I mean, even Henry is like just getting crazy on like a curb that's like this high, you know, like frontside flip to fakie nose grind, dry curb. It looks like, rawr. It looks really cool. Program? Fuck. Oh, the thing with Dill and Gino, and yeah, Program was like it was a company we almost started. The Rocco was behind, and Jason Dill, Gino, Jeremy Ray, Chris Markovich, and Ben Liversedge. Filmed a lot with we had Dave Sloshbach. I had a still camera and a bunch of film, and yeah, Ben Liversedge, Gino, and Dill filmed a lot with those guys. Rocco's whole fucking thing was that he's like, all right, we're gonna do this company. You and Sloshbach can kind of run it. Because by that time I had been hurt for basically like a year straight and was like just thinking about other things. And so Rocco was like, look, you could do this company. You and Sloshbach will run this company. Yeah, and you got to get Gino from Black Label. Done. You know, Dill, you got Jeremy Raisin. He's like, but you got to get Markovich too. You got to get Markovich. We didn't really know it, but I guess at the same time, we were working on Program. Markovich was spending time with Mark Oblo, and they were scheming up a company together. Didn't really know it. It was just kind of this thing. If push came to shove, and it was like, Chris, are we gonna do this? And he's like, no, I'm gonna go work with Mark on his company. So it all fizzled, but then Dill and Gino got on 101, and everything else sorted out. I think that summer I'd started painting. I was really psyched about it, like kind of in the same way I was psyched about skating. You know, these injuries just seemed insurmountable. And I was just like, you know what, I want to just kind of have a clean break, really get into painting, learn how to paint, and maybe I can do this. So just kind of wanted to peace out. Maybe if I had been hurt like one less time, because back then you couldn't really, now you can be a pro and go like a year or two without getting clips and it's all gravy. But back then it was like I was getting hurt so much, I felt like I was in this deficit. I was in this hole I couldn't get out of. I was like, fuck this, man. I gotta go where it's working, you know? 21 was old for being a pro back then. Everyone does really good 360 flips these days. I mean, to be honest, Huff's tray flips are great. I mean, Jason Lee's are great. Dylan did great tray flips. Not really. I mean, those campus shoes were super fun to skate in. Enigmas were really good. But then some of the last airwalks we skated in were like really good. I would skate in a pair of those now. I would skate in some campuses or some airwalks now, for sure. Yeah, I think I dabbled around with this company 02 shoes for a second, which was like the leatherless shoe company. Ed Templeton and Vallely skated them for a little bit, but they were really strange because they were like Velcro. Your grip tape would stick to the shoe, so you go to all and your board would like stick to the shoe. It was like they were really, really hard to skate in. They were a little suspect. Yeah, I think I was definitely vegetarian. I think I was vegan for a couple years. Might have been. It's funny, I think that Ed and Mike left. They went to meet with the owner of 02, and they went to his house and they were hanging out, and Mike was like, hey, do you mind if I'm hungry, can I get a snack or something? And he went and opened up his fridge, and there was like a bunch of like sliced like luncheon meat in there, like ham and roast beef. They were just like, what? You know, like, what the fuck? We can't do shoes with a guy that's got like deli meat in his fridge. Great skater, really creative guy. He was like really good when he was a kid. He's had a lot of phases. Kareem was such a good skater. He would come stay with me at in my college dorm, and it was like hilarious. I think sometimes I would take him up to like the cafeteria for like a meal or something, and just taking him into like that he was just like tripping on the whole program. It was hilarious. Kareem at the World Park. He was off world and he got back on, and I just remember like he did these huge alley backside kickflips on the quarter pipe. Pull stuff, just pull stuff out of nowhere. Oh man, fuck, what do I have to say about Rudy? Played a mean game of skate. This is like really competitive, you know? Just remember there was a period of time we were both like trying to learn switch tray flips. Inevitably like beat me with a switch tray flip in our games of skate, you know, always. Like, fuck, all right, motherfucker. Just skated so fast. His heel flips, like early on, backside 180 heel flips, just massive. Gons gap. That's right. I was just in town. I think I was in town with my girlfriend, and then my buddy Andy hit me up to go out. We were just skating around the city, and I think we ran into that posse, Gino with Ty Evans. But yeah, Gino's backside 360 ollies are super good. Like the ways his feet are like glued to the board, but his legs are kind of like straight somehow. I was like, it's a good 20 minutes, I think. Oh, best dude ever. Sweetest guy. Like, he put up with like a lot of people's shit, man, including my own. He made a lot of people's careers happen, man. Oh, Jed's like one of the best dudes. Really sick skater. Just has that tall, kind of lanky guy style. He was like so solid the way he did tricks. He kind of grew up skating with like Guy and Jason Lee in North Hollywood. Yeah, well, I think I left before him, but he moved somewhere down in San Diego and was skating and actually learning how to surf. Jed started surfing, and then he fell in love with this girl, and I think the last time I saw him, he married her. That was like summer of like '94, maybe. Yeah, Megan was I think she might have been the chief sales officer at World. Yeah, I just remember like Tim Gavin always fucking with her. Those guys always crowding her office. Love that dude. I remember watching that guy in, what's the school with the steps in SF? Wallenberg. Someone rigged like a like a Euro gap at Wallenberg. I remember watching Rob Welsh skate that and like doing like switch tray flips up this little Euro gap. Then like switch backside 180 flip like into the thing, and he's really good. So inspiring for so many reasons at so many times. Remember that guy trying lip slides on a plastic bus bench in like 1986 outside the Long Beach Convention Center, and I just remember watching him from far away, just being like mesmerized. And then he just slammed, like his leg went through, and he like just planked on this thing and took the worst slam and then just got right up, and I was like, oh my gosh, man. What about that video of Gons skating in SF? And he's bombing downhill, and he's got like one leg back, and he's like basically like going like 25 miles an hour downhill, and he's just like, he's like, guy's like incredible. Bobby de Kaiser is really sick. Sage, you know, Sean Pablo. I'm so bad with names. It's the other kid, the Northern European kids. A couple Danish kids. But it just blows my mind, man, how dialed people are with tricks, you know? Plan B video, virtual reality. Virtual reality. The blind guys were in the friend section in here. Yeah, I think I had a tailside kickflip out and like a little line. Filmed a line with Sloshbach for this. No, that is incorrect. Yeah. Definitely before people knew, those guys started thinking about breaking off and doing their own thing. The parties that matter might have learned about certain improprieties like not too long after this video came out, but I know they didn't know about that stuff when it came out. The blind guys were filming we were trying to film like a full-length video of our own, but we didn't have enough footage, so we gave it to these guys. I mean, I love all these guys. I think I wasn't really the biggest Plan B fan. It's kind of jock, you know? It was the beginning of the jock days. I love all those guys, like seeing them skate individually, but the Plan B vibe collectively, although I love all interested part, it was, for whatever reason, it wasn't that interesting. It's too fucking competitive, too heavy, and like the whip was getting cracked on. I'm like, you gotta fucking come up with the best video part you've ever had, and like, you know, this video is the fucking best ever. And it's kind of the beginning of that whole trajectory of like, we're gonna fucking slay you with our video, and it's gonna be the fucking hardest shit. That's not what skateboarding's about. Like, fuck off, man. Like, I just want to fucking do my thing. Like, fuck you, you know? Sorry.
Okay, go, go, go. Yeah.